Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We are live from Abuja. I'm Olajude Bello. First, the headlines. Planned nationwide protest. President Bola Tinubu appeals to Nigerians to keep faith and believe in government's ability to transform Nigeria. Small groups plead for patience. National Assembly passes 70,000 naira national minimum wage bill as requested by the executive. Central Bank increases interest rate to 26.75% amid decision will tame inflation. "13 years after flag-off, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike pledges quick completion of Abuja Road project. President Bola Tinubu is appealing to Nigerians, particularly the youth, to keep faith and the ability of his administration to transform Nigeria to an enviable height so desired by the citizens. Information and National Orientation Minister Mohammed Idris conveyed the message of President Bola Tinubu after their meeting at the State House. Speaking on the state of the nation, the minister says the president is fully aware of the situation in the country and is working hard to turn around the social and economic situation for the good of all Nigerians.
And Mr. President has asked me to again inform Nigerians that he listens to them, especially the young people that are trying to protest. Mr. President is listening to them. He takes what they say seriously and is working assiduously to ensure that this country is good not just for today but also for the future. The issue of the planned protest, Mr. President does not see any need for that. He's asked them to shelve that plan. He's asked to await government's response to all their pleas. He has listened to them, like I said, and a lot is happening. Only today, the National Assembly has expeditiously passed the new national minimum wage. You can see how the president is working. It was transmitted only yesterday. Today it has been passed. A lot of other interventions that the president has also put in place are also going to be looked at expeditiously in the interest of Nigeria. So there's no need for strike. The young people out there should listen to the president and allow the president more time to see to the realization of all the goodies he has for them.
The coalition of Middle Belt youth leaders have called on Nigerians to give President Tinubu the chance to actualize his blueprint for the nation. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, youth of Middle Belt extraction vowed not to participate in the proposed nationwide protest, saying it is ill-conceived. Report.
The coalition represents all the youth organizations and over 100 ethnic groups in the Middle Belt. The group acknowledges the critical state of the economy, but believes that any protest now could worsen the situation for the masses.
The whole system is overheated with political rivalry, overheated with religious sentiment, overheated with ethnic and regional sentiment everywhere. What we don't know, this is political coup. This is not what you think. I'm telling you, the outcome of this will be very, very serious. It will lead to damage of properties, it will lead to loss of lives and many other things.
The youth leaders are also concerned that some criminal elements could hijack the protest and unleash mayhem on innocent citizens.
So we encourage our people. There are various means through which we are going to sort out this issue. Remember, this government made this today was not made by this present government. 1 year, 2 months will not be enough for you to judge a government. We have seen certain steps that this government has taken. So let's give them a benefit of doubt to see to it that, okay, in the process of time, with our effort as Nigerians, with our patience, because everybody is feeling it.
The They agreed to also relate with leaders of other geopolitical groups to ensure peace in the country. In Abuja, David Irie, NTA News.
The coalition of Northern Youth Leaders has dissociated itself from the much talked about planned national protest. This follows information the coalition has received via the agenda of some quarters by involving themselves in the protest goes against the peaceful focus of the coalition to bring to government's attention the state of affairs in the country. National President of the coalition, Murtala Mohammed, made this point while briefing the media on its position.
The Northern Nigerian Leaders Forum wish to disassociate its members and the entire youth of Northern Nigeria from the planned protest against the federal government of Nigeria. While we encourage the government to do more to improve the life of citizens, we strongly oppose any form of protest or demonstration across Northern Nigeria, which will be hijacked by the hoodlums.
Urged Nigerians to be patient with government as it strives to make life easier for the people.
The Northern Youth Leaders Forum appreciates the fact that there is hardship in the land, but at the same time acknowledge that the effort of the government is tackling them, e.g. the recently granted local government autonomy, which will tell the government to the grassroots.
The fourth expanded National Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic, one of the federal government's strategies for making it easier to do business in Nigeria, has been launched in Dutse, Jigawa State. Vice President Kashim Shettima at the event also launched the Jigawa State Retail Shop Empowerment Program, courtesy of the Umar Namadi-led administration. The details of this report will come during the course of our bulletin. Orientation agency NOAA is among agencies appealing to Nigerians to shun the planned nationwide protest over the economic situation of the country. Consequently, the agency is commencing a motorized orientation campaign against the protests in Abuja. The Director General will be flagging off the campaign in Abuja. Let's now join our correspondent Kenneth Nanim to give us more insight on what is happening from his end. Kenneth, if you can hear me, can you give us an insight as to what's happening at the moment?
Thank you, Jide. Yes, I am standing in front of the office of the National Orientation Agency. The government establishment, saddled with the responsibility of communicating the programs and the activities of government to the people, and also had other responsibilities, such as inculcating the right values, national values, building trust, building, that sense of patriotism, sense of love for the fatherland. And, they have been called by some people to carry out a national protest, regarding the socio-economic situation of the country at the moment. But the agency, is also joining the presidency and other many Nigerians calling for this protest to be shelved. And I also have the Director General of the agency, Malam Isa Onilu, who is also here to talk to Nigerians regarding what message they have to give to Nigerians, especially the youths, regarding this national protest. So yes, we want to know what message does the National Orientation Agency have regarding the proposed nationwide protest?
Yeah, well, the message we have is to say that this is not the time for protests. This is the time for patience. In 1 year, this government has done a lot of fundamental things that are targeted at ensuring that we are only not just building for today, but even for tomorrow, and to ensure that this country never has to experience this kind of hardship. But this is a necessary hardship. it's like the pain of labor, that you must go through so that you can have a baby. Within the last 1 year, everybody knew that what we were doing before this administration could not have, taken this country to anywhere. We were on the road to perdition. So a transformation is going on, reforms are ongoing, and there will be pains during that period. But we must also be very conscious of the fact that we are all in this together. And the president is doing a lot. He just appealed, yesterday to them to say he has heard them. I mean, you have student loan within that period. Now you have, a lot of infrastructure, money being spent rightly, to have this infrastructure. Without this infrastructure, this country, the economy cannot grow, our GDP cannot grow, we cannot have prosperity, but you must break an egg before you can make an omelette. So we are in the process of that, breaking that egg to make, to have that omelette. As we speak now, NOA has deployed in all the 774 local governments across the country, making advocacy visits to traditional rulers, to religious leaders, to student leaders, to women leaders, to appeal to them, to talk to people, to ensure that we all have patience. It's not time for protest. And we are not Kenya. Our situation is completely different. Even those who spearheaded the Kenyan protest are regretting now. They have been writing to apologize, because you can only destroy things when you go through that. So it will take somebody who does not mean well for the country to do that. So we are deploying. So this is the Abuja leg of our, advocacy. We are going around Abuja to ensure that people are spoken to, and we give this government a little more time. Okay, now the government is rolling out very soon that all unemployed people will be on 70,000 naira a month for 6 months, and they will be placed in a place where they can work, and government will support them, pay them until they get employment. So we have the credit scheme that is coming on. We have the student loan that is coming. All these are aimed at relieving people. A lot is going on in the agricultural sector. The president just created another ministry targeting livestock. You are targeting improved economy. You're also targeting age-long feud between the herdsmen and farmers. So it's somebody that is sitting down every day, thinking out of the box on finding critical solutions to critical challenges that we are facing. So this is not the kind of government you want to go on the streets to protest against. This is the kind of government you want to do everything within your means to support and also pray. Yes, we want this thing to run faster so that we all can be relieved, but this is the pain that we must go through. So NOA, our responsibility is clearly cut out, and we are not relenting. We are, like I said, we have mobilized all our staff nationwide. We are getting feedback for government, and as well as making that advocacy visit to all the critical stakeholders all across the country to appeal to them, to talk to people, to say, let's be patient with government. Let's see this particular process as a necessary process that we all must go through to have a country that we all desire. By end of August, the president is going to unveil what we call the National Identity Project, which is targeted at, the president's word is that you must build Nigerians to build Nigeria. So the process of even building the Nigeria so that we all can have that shared value system, we can have shared identity and shared ambition and aspirations. The president is going to unveil it, which is also spearheaded by the National Orientation Agency. So we are doing a lot, and we are reaching out to the artisans, to trade associations. We are working with everybody all across the country, to ensure that we pull together at this moment as a nation that has purpose. So we cannot allow mischief makers, people who have ulterior motives, whose interests are far from national interest, to be the one to determine our fate. All they want from this country is destruction. And that's not what the majority of Nigerians want.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Okay. Yes, you can see, just like the DD has said, the very soon from now, they will march onto the streets. You will see the gallant man of war and other staff who are behind me here. They will move to the street to sensitize Nigerians. And the National Orientation Agency is saying that its voice will actually out there, who have joined hands with the president to call on Nigerians, especially the youths, to shield the planned protest in the interest of peace and harmony in our country.
All right, many thanks, Kenneth Nanim there, for keeping us up to speed. You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. More reports after this break. Thanks for being there. Now let's join our State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila for the inauguration of MSME's clinic in Jigawa State.
Respite has come the way of small business owners in the new world known as Jigawa State. Inspection of exhibition stands to showcase the skills and experience of the people, and the inauguration of the Duse Ultra-Modern Market Solar Plant for the National MSME Clinic. Vice President Kashim Shettima describes small businesses as the lifeline of communities across the nation and a strong pillar of stability at this critical phase of economic transition.
This is why we cannot afford to have you have any fear. We will not rest until each of you is in a vantage position to access the support and capital made available for our small businesses. Through these clinics, the administration has provided a platform for MSMEs in Jigawa State to interact directly with regulatory agencies, financial institutions, and business support organizations, receiving on-the-spot solutions to solve the challenges they face.
We are delighted that this also aligns with our agenda for Greater Jigawa, in which we plan to implement several well-conceived targeted interventions to support and promote entrepreneurs, efficient business incubation, and development of small businesses.
Thank the people of Jigawa State on what we have done on this partnership.
As part of efforts to ensure food security and stimulate economic growth across Nigeria, the Vice President has inaugurated 10 hectares of land for Jigawa State solar-based sprinkler irrigation demonstration farm for rice and vegetables at Sumore community in Duse local government area to revolutionize Nigeria's agricultural sector as part of the ongoing efforts to enhance food security, create jobs, and diversify Nigeria's economy. In Duse, the Vice President also launched the Jigawa State Palliative Shops, a cashless transaction initiative to train 1,000 youth as agents across the 287 wards of the state. From Duse, Jigawa State, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal says his administration is ready to collaborate with the federal government on delivering developmental projects that will ultimately impact the citizens. This is coming as the Secretary to the State Government, Abubakar Mohammed, on behalf of the Governor, received the personal assistant to the President and Constituency Affairs, Khadija Tomotayo Karim, who is in the state to engage stakeholders in monitoring abandoned and needed federal government projects in the state. The President's aide said the essence of their engagement is to reassure Nigerians of the President's commitment to take development to the people at the grassroots.
What we mean by abandoned projects is not all about construction of roads. It may be vocational center, it may be healthcare center, but what we are agitating for is abandoned projects at the federal level with the critical stakeholders in the state. We want to have one-on-one conversation so that they won't feel abandoned in Zamfara state, and also they will be able to tell us the area they want Mr. President to look into.
It might surprise you in the course of the engagement. We might end up bringing a few projects that at the end of the day might be local government projects, but of course they are being funded by the federal government. So the assumption is definitely that they are federal government projects, and we'll pick a few of them that we know they touch the livelihood of the ordinary citizens of Zamfara.
A town hall meeting is scheduled to interact with the people of the state to know their critical needs that requires the attention of the federal government. Zamfara is the 6th state the office of the personal assistant to the president and constituency affairs will be visiting for her fact-finding job after Kogi, Jigawa, Niger, Anambra and Taraba state. Abuja residents upbeat federal government's planned conversion of 30,000 commercial vehicles to compressed natural gas while bringing relief to the populace and eventually reduce the cost of living. Vivian Iziadife has details.
Federal government will expand an average of 36 billion naira to convert 30,000 petrol or diesel-powered vehicles to start running on compressed natural gas in the next 90 days. Government has acquired 30,000 CNG conversion kits for free distribution nationwide within the period. The kits and the conversion costs were valued at the rate of 1.2 million naira per vehicle, making a total of 36 billion naira within the next 3 months. The move is to ensure the adoption of CNG as an alternative fuel for transportation.
It's a good development because when we talk of compression ignition engine and compared to petrol engine, the compression ignition engine, the advantages, that is the merits and demerit of the compression ignition engine is a welcome idea because one, less consumption of fuel, and is durable, can withstand any difficulties.
Talking about compressed natural gas CNG, I believe it's part of what the government can do to improve lives. It's okay if they would really achieve that, but there are a lot to be done, especially in the transport sector. Every successful government has to provide a good transportation for its citizens, especially in communities like FCT. I think we've had ministers who had made transportation a priority. Fixing roads and other things is good, but please let's do a lot in terms of fixing transportation, and let's try to bring improved transportation that would allow noble citizens and common citizens to even share the same transport system so that people can network. You might just find your lifesaver, as we say in this country, through a proper system of transport.
At all, after converting it, the cost of buying, the gas, is cheaper than the PMS, which is the petrol, which is a welcome development. And part of the problem, even the high cost of things, has to do with transportation. If you go to market now, food is very expensive. You ask them, they say cost of transportation. So if they convert it and the cost of transportation can reduce, is it not a good idea? it's a welcome idea.
Project Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, Michael Oluwabemi, while on a mobilization drive to parks, said President Bola Tinubu is taking steps to ensure transporters use CNG to replace high-priced petrol and diesel, which would reduce the cost of transportation and, by extension, rising cost of food items.
It's cheaper, it's cleaner, it's safer, and it's more reliable. 40% less tailpipe emission, 90% yes motor time put in the head. So definitely there's an advantage to using CNG for the environment. We are already flaring gas. So what we are saying is that instead of flaring gas, we should turn that gas to use of our economy.
The PCNGI boss, however, said the president is interested in distributing 1 million CNG kits to commercial drivers across Nigeria as palliatives, noting that the government is building more CNG stations where drivers could buy the commodity below 250 naira per kilogram. With business, Vivian Ezadifi.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has increased interest rates by 50 basis points to 26.75% from 26.25% to sustain efforts in curbing inflation. Musa Abaka reports that the committee at its 296th meeting expressed confidence that inflation is cooling off and will continue.
That Nigeria's external reserves rose to more than $36 billion, resonate amongst these monetary policy members. But inflation still persists at 34.19% in June from 33.95% in May, as food inflation also rose to 40.87%. The committee didn't disappoint to remain hawkish for the fourth time by hiking interest rate after reviewing economic and financial development within and outside the country. They welcomed the federal government's 180 days quick win plan targeted to boost food availability.
It is so fundamental to the long-term future and stability of our economy that inflation should be brought under control, that in the short term these are pains which ultimately will be able to help our economy and help the manufacturing businesses as well.
The MPC is confident that the recent increase in external reserves to more than $36 billion will boost investor confidence as the outlook for the Nigerian economy remains positive despite foreign exchange challenges.
Exchange rate has converged, limiting the opportunities for arbitrage. This is very important. Inflows have increased from 37.93% between January and May 2024 to 38.8 billion. And net inflows, more importantly actually, grew by 73.4%.
As metric corridor around the MPR is set at plus 500 and minus 100 basis points. Cash reserve ratio for deposit money banks at 45% and merchant banks 14% and liquidity ratio at 30%. This implies an increase in the cost of borrowing, which may impact growth, at the same time help to curtail inflation and attract foreign direct investment, as well as boost the value of the Naira. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Another break beckons. The news at 10 continues shortly.